Calipari's return to Kentucky's stadium was brutal. But before the news, subscribe to the channel to receive more news. That night was tough for the Cats, and there is no other way to describe what happened at Rupp Arena. John Calipari's long-awaited return to the legendary Kentucky basketball gym ended with a bitter taste for Wildcats fans, who saw their team suffer one of the most frustrating losses of the season against an Arkansas that, until then, was irrelevant in the SEC competition. The loss was not just a stumble. It was a problem that exposed the inconsistencies of this Mark Pope team and raises urgent questions about the team's immediate future. The game started as Kentucky fans expected, with good shooting and the impression that the Wildcats could control the game at home. But the second half was a real disaster. Arkansas, a team that had struggled offensively in the conference, managed to impose its rhythm, finishing with 89 points and shooting an impressive 55% from the field and 52% from three. Statistics like that don't just happen. They're a symptom of a defense that simply couldn't do what it took to contain an opponent that, in theory, shouldn't be a big problem. The scenario of the loss is made even more dire when you consider Kentucky's standing in the conference. The Wildcats entered the game 4-3 in the SEC and needed a win to maintain their competitive position. Instead, Mark Pope's team now finds itself at 4-4 and with an uncertain future in the fight for the top spot. The recent run was already troubling, 3 losses in the last 4 games. And now Kentucky is preparing for a road matchup against Ole Miss, a team desperate for a big win. If the team's momentum doesn't turn around quickly, the Wildcats risk further complicating their NCAA tournament aspirations. But beyond the numbers and the SEC math, the emotional toll of this loss may be the most concerning. Losing to John Calipari in his first return to Rupp Arena as an opponent, that weighs heavily. That hurts the fans. Calipari didn't leave Kentucky on a quiet note, and watching his new, struggling team defeat the Wildcats in one of the best environments Rupp Arena has provided this season only adds fuel to the fire of frustration. However, while the men's team searches for answers, Kentucky WBB has a big challenge ahead against Oklahoma, currently ranked 13th. Coach Kenny Brooks' team faces an opponent that showed great strength in pushing LSU to the limit in a thrilling 107-100 game. With 5 of its last 8 regular season games against ranked teams, Kentucky has a chance to make a big statement. The road ahead will be tough, but a win over Oklahoma could be just what the team needs to gain momentum at a crucial point in the season. It's time for reflection and reaction for the Wildcats. The SEC is waiting for no one, and if Kentucky wants to maintain its relevance this season, it will need to quickly find solutions to the problems exposed in the loss to Arkansas. I want to hear your thoughts.